Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have some messages for you today, and I'll do some oracle cards at the end as well. It is August 22nd today, 2018. Welcome. I have some message from my sand art too, before I forget. What I was first getting from the sand art, and this is from early morning hours today, was an infection starting and spreading. So that might have to do with someone specific, someone's disease process. It could be with teeth, someone who needs their teeth cleaned as well. But it also could be just the attitude of the people spreading, but some infectious. So it could be positive infectious or negative infectious. You know, it's just telling you whatever comes up now, it will be expanded, I guess, because it's going to spread. Okay, and then I see a dachshund. Actually, a dachshund feeding their babies. Really cute, actually. And then it's just a lot of chaos, a lot of activity of, and I'm seeing Niagara Falls again. Reflection in the falls. Maybe reflection in this fall. Okay, you'll see your reflect whatever you've manifested. You'll see the reflection of it in the fall. I see a lot of water coming up around mountain ranges, like filling in new tributaries, but then in the end, and it's really pretty, maybe new falls are created somehow. But I'm seeing these mountain ranges where there was no water between the mountains before. Now there's like, maybe the water level is going to rise. Or it just could be the emotions rising, like the water pressure rising. But I also see some kind of entities aggravating a volcano to get it to erupt. So it's like, you know, poking at it until it clears, you know, to get the last emotions. It's like wringing out the shirt too, making sure all of the emotions come out. But I also am seeing angels hanging around this, so it's something good. It's for clearing purposes, and there's lots of emotions around this. But they're nice flowing emotions. They're not like, it's not like water like jumping up all over the place. And definitely could be drones. But in the end, I'm seeing two, and I was literally getting two motherships landing by a crater. And it doesn't look like a crater until the end, because it looks like there's water coming through everywhere, and then by the end, some of the tributaries aren't there anymore. They dry up, and it's just a crater. So there's literally two motherships landing at where a crater is. So that's trying to show us the identification of a site. So if anyone is resonating with that, and has any further information about that, there is a crater where two motherships are landing. Okay, and this is the last picture I have of the crater, so you get an idea of what I'm seeing. Okay, but right before this picture of the crater, there's literally two motherships, and it's expressing motherships because it's like they're laying eggs below them. Okay. And even in this picture, you can see there's somebody at the corner of the picture on the other side of the crater. See the person there? There's someone observing. So pretty cool picture. Also, I wanted to bring up in my codes this morning, it led me on another little goose chase. And some of the pictures I want to bring up about that are Babylon came up, and I told you I'd researched the septigram, the 7-pointed star, because no one ever sees a 7-pointed star. We don't use it for anything. And it's Babylon. Okay, so this is the star of Babylon. And I'll tell you why it came up in my codes when that comes up. And also I wanted to show you, which was kind of interesting, if it'll stay which way I want it to go. No. Go this way. This way. Okay. There we go. I don't know if it's going to stay, but I reflected two chakra rays Oh, it doesn't want to stay, but oh well. See if you can see it. It's sideways, like I want it to be upward like this, but my phone's going to change direction. But if you put two chakra rays reflecting back to back, it looks like someone's eyes and their eyebrows, like where they're going crazy, which is just exactly what the energies are coming up around this full moon in Pisces. I also wanted to show you this picture. I was guided to look up some shaman stuff and literally got this picture of 21 shaman around a cedar tree, and I just told you yesterday that cedar came up twice. Okay, and I've never brought up cedar to you ever before. Okay, so there's something about using cedar, like sage, because I use cedar as well, which I'm not familiar with. I haven't used cedar before, but it's there may be something about cedar that's important for us to use in clearing. And then I was just out on my deck. And by the way, the energies are beautiful today. I woke up feeling really good today. My energy was really good. I'm not feeling really stressed out. Actually going to sleep last night, there was so much stress in my throat, and it wasn't me, it was my twin. So your twins are probably really want to say something to you, and they're getting stressed out about it. But it was so magical when I went out today on the deck. First I see just one leaf blow off the tree and float across the yard, and right after that a flock of birds just swoops right in and swoops right out. And it was just as, like, I think I was listening to Leo King out there, and he was talking about this stuff, you know, appreciating what you have now. And then I was lying on my stomach, and a whole bunch of leaves blew off the tree, and they were all just like floating, landing around me. And the one leaf that landed on my towel next to me, I want to show you the picture of it, because it's like literally an eye. This is the leaf that landed next to me. Okay, so pretty cool. Is there anything else? And just, of course, a beautiful sun. This was the sun before I came in case you want to see it, because it's really beautiful. Okay, that's enough of my phone. Alright, so beautiful energies today. It's a beautiful sunny day. Don't mind me, I was out on the deck, so I was just sweating. But good to sweat, you know, clean. It's another purification system, okay? And we're going into Virgo here, which is my home sign. So I actually usually like being in Leo better. My Venus is in Leo, so but we're coming into Virgo time, and actually for me it's still a month before my birthday, so it's really not my high time, it's my downtime for the year. Usually the month before your birthday is your downtime for the year, and then as of your birthday going forward a month is like your high time for the year. So it is August 22nd, 2018. 22 is the Fool energy. Okay, so we have being free and taking that leap of faith, being true to your own heart. And the day adds up to 41.5, which is the Ace of Cups. So it's beautiful, new love, self-love day, being the Fool, okay, being free and taking that leap, following your bliss. It's all about that energy. How can you have better energy? The Fool and the Ace of Cups. The 41.5 is 5 of freedom, right? 5 is change, expansion, sex, romance, children. It's all about that free energy. And it's the 41, which is the masculine energy, very driven on the inside and stable on the outside. So it kind of creates this chaos in the 5, which is a beautiful chaos because it's the Ace of Cups. But it's really made up of drive and responsibility. So how interesting is that? And the 22, the Fool, is just what it is. The 2 is the 2. It's all about the feminine energy, creativity, and being nurturing and loving. And being able to see both sides of the situation. Okay? Not judging. Also, I wanted to bring up with the chakra rays that musical notes are like a chakra ray, basically. So it's showing you the harmony is everywhere. The power is in the harmony. And in that 7-pointed star that I showed you for Babylon, the star actually contains the shapes of the M, the X, the V, the L, the Y. Okay, sound familiar? So all the Roman numerals we use, as well as the X and Y. So that was kind of interesting. All right, so oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure I brought up the throat chakra, because not only was I feeling my twin's throat chakra last night going to sleep, and it was intense. Like I was like let go of my throat. Like I was fine. I didn't need to say anything at the moment, and but I slept well. But it's not just then. In my reads every day now, my throat's going out, and when I talk to you, you've noticed recently that my throat's been going out a lot. So definitely things need to be said, and they're coming up to be said, because with this full moon is coming exposure, and especially going into September as well, with Mars and Saturn going direct. So there should be a feeling of freedom and lightness today, as opposed to what you've been experiencing. And if that's not true, that's okay too. There's been lots of rain here this week, so it's kind of like planting the seeds and watering them, and now we get to come out with it a little bit. So maybe practice something of what you've learned recently. And actually testing came up in the codes today too. So just be aware you may be tested. So stay in your heart, stay as observer, stay in your present moment, observing yourself. So as soon as I started shuffling, so I'm doing the feminine energy first and then the masculine energy. As soon as I start shuffling the feminine energy, the divine feminine, the Ace of Wands dropped out. So that's all about that passionate sexual energy, creativity, new beginnings in that. Okay, and that's coming up with this full moon. It's huge. And listen to Leo King. It was really good today about the coming full moon and then Mars direct the next day, and about being patient, knowing everything's going to unfold. Don't rush it, and stay in your integrity. Okay, that was somewhat of the message, but I would listen to it. It was actually a good one this week. The number 7, it was all about number 7 in the read today for the Divine Feminine, but also 1010 came up. M37, which is the King of Cups. And 1010 is just like, double wheel of fortune. Really good luck. And it's 1010. So you have that 1 and source energy. Zeros are all about God and love. So in my codes today, they weren't always really clear in what I was getting, so I put the whole code in, which doesn't make any sense. They're just pieces of words. And first I was getting stuff about the hangman being tested and having to do with bad spirits, so you're usually tested that way. When you come across dark energies, are you going to be in your knowing? So you may be tested. It could even be with your twin being tested to stay in your knowing. Okay, but also I keep getting, and this has come up twice already this week, I believe, is Re, and today it specifically came up Re, which is a North Dakota Indian tribe. The Arikara, and one of the nicknames is Re, R-E-E, which keeps coming up, but it came Re, like nickname for Arikara. But anyway, a shaman from this tribe keeps coming up. And I can't find anything online specific to a shaman from that tribe, so if anyone of you know anyone who is a Re shaman, let me know. But then I put in the whole code to see what would come up. And so, of course, it was really funny. The first entry that comes up to select from was X-rated. X-rated.co website reveals verdicts from your man's old flame. How funny is that? Okay, so maybe your divine masculine may be tempted this week with an old flame. Okay, coming back. And this full moon's going to tempt them with them knowing that they're going to get everything they want if they're patient, and are you going to risk that with just maybe having a one-night stand with someone you aren't going in the same direction with? So that was interesting, and I like having seen that, because now I can piece together some of the astrological stuff related to this. The next entry, and it's so funny when you put in these codes what comes up, because the entries are totally unrelated to each other, and yet they all relate to what I'm being guided to receive. So we have that first entry, and then we have the code maker. So it's a portal all about the Zen maker, Shangri-La, Shambhala, the Wonderling. It's about the Zen monastery experience. Buddhism, the supernormal perceptual states, the Suddhness, or the mysterious hermitage beyond time in the remote Himalayan mountains, or Shangri-La, basically. So this is all about this experience of this person in their normal life, and just I guess I didn't read the whole thing, but deciding to hang out in the mountains there in Tibet for a while to see what would happen, and he ends up not eating and all that kind of thing, and then some monks pass him, so he tries to follow them where they're going, but he can't make it because he hasn't been eating. So when they come back, he follows them back, and he ends up following them right back into the monastery and having that experience. So that was kind of cool. But it brings up Shangri-La, which is funny because I stayed at Shangri-La with my daughter for her 21st birthday last year. But anyway, this is bringing up Zen, monastery, Tibet, and Buddhism. So, and the code maker is the way it was titled. The code maker, the Zen maker. Then the next entry I see is Babylon, is the wiki entry. The three aspects of Babylon: the Scarlet Woman, the Great Mother, and the Mother of Abominations. The female sexual impulse, the liberated woman. And this, and I was re-listening to Lee and Remy yesterday, which was good. I mean, it's always divine timing when you listen to certain videos. You're always guided to the right thing at the right moment. Because it brought up the energy of the liberated woman, and going too extreme to, like, I don't need a man. When women were first liberated and had the right to vote, now they're like, I can fry it up in a pan and all that, and I don't need a man. But that's not the point. You need to come back into your power and maybe experience that extreme, but then it's about softening again, because you don't come into union that way. You come into union being loving and compassionate, but in your power at the same time. An open heart, but in your power. So you don't let anyone walk all over you, but still loving and compassionate, open. So this Babylon thing comes up, and then the other descriptions under this title was to Mega Therion, or the Great Beast, to help manifest energies of Aeon of Horus. So under Babylon, this is considered the sacred whore, whose primary symbol is the chalice, or the grail. Her consort is Chaos, or the father of life. And you like how Chaos is the father of life, God is Chaos, and the male creative principle. So Babylon is the girl with the sword riding the beast, the one who tempers the beast. And I like that, because one of the strength cards in one of my, I think it's that Tarot Sexual Magic, is the woman taming the beast. So it's literally that. And also, it really relates to, what's the movie? It'll come up. I don't know why I can't think of these titles anymore, but if it comes up, I'll bring it back up. So then the Book of Thoth comes up, talking about riding the beast. The left hand holding the rein and connecting. Okay, so what's the movie where they're riding the dragons? I don't know why my brain can't retrieve this stuff anymore. I mean, I do, because my concussion and ascension and menopause, right? But yeah. But you know which movie I'm talking about. So left hand holding the rein, which is the passion that unites them, and then the right hand holds the Holy Grail, a flame, with love and death. So it's a flame within the Holy Grail. So maybe that's the code that you need about the Holy Grail, which cup to pick is the one with the flame in it. Okay? So, oh, by the way, as soon as I started the read this morning, the sexual energy came right in. And I've been pulling it up the whole time. And then I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, which is letting you know the sexual energy is back again. So to pull that energy up, don't feed into it, okay? It also brought up the gateway to the city of pyramids, or Egypt. And the seal, and then it went into the seal of Babylon, which is the 7-pointed star that I showed you, with all the 7s. So it was really all about 7. And I love how those 3 different topics really fall together, okay? So being at peace and being patient, and it was bringing up Babylon, and really, you know, say Mary Magdalene was considered like she was called a whore, but she was, I guess, technically a sacred whore in the way they would describe it in those days, because she was trained in divine sexuality before her mission with Jesus, basically. So here comes Babylon in the description of the sacred whore and saying it's the Holy Grail, right? So yeah. And that this is the still, and it was bringing together the still man, the hanged man, which comes up today, the still man. Can you be still and patient and not rush into something, self-sabotage? And that's the test this week, right? Knowing that the universe has been putting and is putting everything together for you. Are you going to ruin it this week by being impatient and self-sabotaging yourself because you're not trusting your instincts and your knowing? It's so important to stay in your knowing during this week and be patient and trust. So I got the still man, so the divine masculine, the hanged man, not knowing where to go, trying to see things from a different perspective, but being still, learning to be still without getting impatient. Plus, the sacred whore, or the Holy Grail, equals Shangri-La. And why is this coming up now? So then I went to research a little bit more about Re and the Arikara tribe, which is a part of 3 right now in North Dakota. Re is also a rare element, by the way. Of course, it's rare. So again, this shaman stuff, it was like talking about also a tea, a type of tea, a shaman tea. So you might want to try some shaman teas to help rid yourself of dark entities, things like that. But also it's about the 7 is the key, or the 7C key, see the keys that are shaman. So there may be 7 shamans, or 7 is the number of the shaman, to test your stillness in your presence. But T was definitely coming up, and bad spirits, releasing bad spirits, and of course that's what shamans help you with. So some of you may want to experience a shaman event. And for some reason I was guided to multiply the 7 angles in the Babylon triangle, or the Babylon star. And it's 7 angles at 90 degrees, which is 630, and 63 is the 9 of Swords. So that's all the pain cycles. And of course 7, being that odd number out of balance, is that perpetual pain cycle of spirituality and the need to stay present. So some very interesting information in the codes. So in the cards for this morning, it started out with betrayal of the heart. And there's definitely tribal energies coming up. Here again with the shamans. Basically a tidal wave of emotions in a cup. And then that's when the shaman tea was coming up again. So you might want to try some of those out. And as well as the cedar for burning with or without your sage. So for the divine feminine, moving forward, It's like looking forward without money or energy exchange feels like death. Or transition, maybe it's just a change of timelines. And then there was passion. So it's like the divine showing you when things become still, that's when passion builds. That's when your inspiration comes. It's just you need to be patient and wait for that moment. Okay? So destiny aligns with the twins, and this is what I was getting, as the X-Men prepare to whack off someone's beard or their disguise. So if anything comes up with the X-Men, let me know, because that just came up as the description I was seeing. So destiny aligns with the twins as the X-Men prepare to whack off someone's beard or their disguise. So it looks like someone is like waiting out in the open to attack. The King of Swords was coming up as their vice being their words and their use of it. You know, being able, if you're very articulate with your words, you can also use them to harm people very easily, right? So it might be like a kind of like an addiction that someone has. So it's being shown like the King of Swords or the Divine Masculine has his words in that sense, whereas the Empress or the Divine Feminine may have things like ice cream or whatever their addiction is. It was just showing addictions. And then, but it was showing, but the innocent children just have flowers and each other. That's what they depend on. And then I was getting twins playing nicely together. Maybe some twins who haven't been talking come back, which is the natural process for twins. You come together, you learn from each other, and then you fall apart. It's supposed to be that way. But you may come back together with some twins that you parted from. So twins end their pain after trying to sneak away. There may be a jealous jerk trying to take your family happiness down. There may be someone outside of you trying to get between you and your twin. And again, the X factor was coming up. And the Divine Masculine coming into their power. So the Divine Feminine to stop worrying about their Divine Masculine because they come into their power when they're meant to. This is all divine timing. It's all divinely guided. You need to focus on yourself, and the Divine Masculine focuses on themselves. So it was like someone got hurt on the Ferris wheel of life, so it could be literal or figurative. But someone got hurt on the Ferris wheel of life due to sneakiness and jealousy. But you could also be at a park, literally, with kids and ice cream. People having memories of Ferris wheels, where they, maybe a Divine Masculine remembering a Ferris wheel where they weren't able to say a word because they were shy, now ready to defend their territory. And again, this brings up the American Indians, the territory stuff. There's also getting, there could be some accident at an amusement park as well. And also, be careful with these disguises, because I'm getting that everything's coming out in the open, everything's being exposed, but someone with a mask is getting their mask taken off. So if someone's beard is being taken off, maybe someone who's disguised as a man is actually a woman, and vice versa. But also it could just be a mask, you know, in general. They're just not being exactly who they are. So twins align on a new timeline as attacks fall away on the old timelines and end. The Holy Grail is the nightmare that calms the beast. The Divine Masculine may be deep in thought and regret of this nightmare at home, and also the nightmare he may have put his Divine Feminine through, while the Divine Feminine had to tame the beast, basically, because of self-love. You have to learn to love yourself enough to not feed into the sexual energies and learn to master yourself. And that's what the journey is all about. It's mastering all of you, mastering your sexual energy, mastering your responsibilities, your work life, your home life, your kid life. It's mastering all of those things, being in your power, but keeping your heart open at the same time. Not allowing others to take advantage of you, but never shutting down to get defensive or guarded. So stubbornness may have come up, and not trusting intuition, leading to family unhappiness, and for the Divine Masculine, limpness and no options, because they literally may have been having trouble being sexual. And we already knew this with the sexual energy. There comes a time in the journey where many of the Divine Masculines can experience not being able to have sex, because as long as they're not with their Divine Feminine, they may be cut off from this energy. And that's why I was told not to feed into that sexual energy, because that feeds back to the Divine Masculine, to whoever they're having sex with. So recently, the heart is cracked wide open for Divine Masculine suddenly, in burdens of justice and possible divorce, or maybe court cases, to put an end to having no options. So any Divine Masculines who have felt stuck in their situations are finally going to be freed from that situation. So some of them may have been taking themselves down, in brain wars, all in their head. And I'm getting hot, so there's Divine Masculines listening to this. Expressing feelings, ending pain cycles, looping up each time. So as the Divine Masculine starts expressing their feelings and being truthful with themselves and with others, then they start ending the pain cycles and looping upward. Whew. Excuse me just for one moment. Okay, so centrally for the Divine Feminine aspect, there's a coming together here to make a decision to get clear at a workplace, maybe with a secret lover, challenged by keeping your heart open while staying present in your power, giving to others and recovering financially, saving money for your nest egg. The Divine Masculine may be guiding you home to this. Like your Divine Masculine may be guiding you to save or whatever. Realize that your Divine Masculine may actually be helping you out. So now in the head and the heart of the Divine Feminine, the Knight of Wands is moving to work with lover who's independent, who may be talking to others and may have psychic abilities, right? But it's about getting moving. The Divine Masculine is impatient to move, getting out of dodge, needing the courage to stand his ground without having options, or felt like they've had options in the past. There's definitely third-party jealousy coming up, and flexing their air sex muscles, longing for the twin who betrayed them and moved on to a fantasy with possibly Sagittarius energy, alcohol, potions, or offering work to a tyrant. Okay, so they could be different things. It could be addictions to women, drugs, alcohol, or even work, with a really nasty boss. So soon, for the Divine Feminine, it was showing basically there's two that ultimately keep the family together. Be careful about open marriage. So some Divine Masculines might be trying, since they're not really having a relationship with their wives anymore, may offer them an open relationship, so stay married so that they could test the waters. So if you're a Divine Feminine, be careful of that. Make sure they're telling you the truth about what their status is. And is that really what you want? Is that authentic to what you want? If it is, great. If it's not, don't accept that. Okay, you're worth more than that. But keep your heart open, not defensive. Just be truthful. So, as the Divine Feminine, you are now in your abundance with your open heart. After feeling defeated due to no communication or little communication, sadness and loss, finding peace with your kids, if you have kids, or moving, or whatever your situation is, working on details of your alignment, getting all your ducks in a row. And for the Divine Feminine, codependency and calling in your soulmate came up. And for that very reason, if your Divine Masculine does come into your sphere, and you do have a talk, make sure you're authentic in what you decide to accept. Okay, don't rush. There's no rush. Okay, be patient and be authentic. Be open, but in your power. So around you for the Divine Feminine is a masked boy with a flame, all right? So it's basically a horny little boy, a teenage boy who's still wearing his mask, who needs the courage to manifest being his man, the King of Swords. He wants a family legacy, but he's trapped in his head without the Divine Feminine to calm him, because he knows the Divine Feminine is who calms him. The Divine Masculine needs to clear blocks of impatience, independence, breaking addictions, okay? So no fear of being patient, no fear of being independent, and no fear of addictions. You know that you can do all of that because you've done it. Okay, it's all about manifestation right now. Whew. I'm sorry, I'm still like really hot from, I told you sometimes when I connect with the masculine energy, the Divine Masculines, I start sweating immediately. And it happens every time I talk to my son. So, the Divine Masculine is ready to take a leap away from putting it out there for him. Okay, so instead of putting it out there so he can touch it anytime he wants, be in your power. Okay? The Divine Masculine or Divine Feminine could both still have that right knee block, which has to do with anger, and maybe there may be someone, a Divine Masculine, who's got a hang up. A chocolate kiss was coming up, so someone might have liked someone who was like a chocolate kiss from a fantasy a long time ago. Also, the Divine Masculine may be flexing their muscles to cause jealousy, and it may be coming out that the Divine Masculine was using the Divine Feminine to make his partner jealous at the time. So, the Divine Feminine is coming up as the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Wheel reversed, because she needs to ground more, especially in these full moon energies coming up and all the heavy energies we've been through. So it's just reminding the Divine Feminine to ground. And they may feel like they've lost money as well, but not feeding into that fear, because that's fear. So the Divine Masculine or Divine Feminine could be stuck because of that right knee block, which is still about patience, impatience, because impatience is about anger and frustration, of getting attention. Okay, so that could be blocking a practical offer. So if you as a Divine Feminine are having this illusion of the fairy tale and the way you want to come in because you're looking for an outcome, you may be blocking a practical offer that could lead to what you want. Okay, so make sure you ground yourself. There's good news and success with a Queen of Swords energy. Okay, so who's in her truth. But make sure not to pull the lever without connecting to your intuition first. I was being shown this very clearly for the Divine Feminine. Rise above your ego. Right, so don't get defensive. So if the Divine Masculine offers you something that you feel is totally insulting to you, don't be triggered by it. Speak like a grown-up and tell them how you feel and tell them how you feel about that. But you don't have to get triggered or freak out about it. Rise above the ego in exposure to good energy. Stand your ground though during work and during any moves that you make. Rising above defensiveness. Drop your ego at work when a move is exposed. So maybe some of you are working with your Divine Masculines and they're leaving work, or maybe they're coming back to work. But there could be these type of situations, or they could be leaving, someone's finally leaving their marriage, or somebody could be coming together with somebody else. So whatever your situation is, you're not supposed to allow yourself to be triggered by this. Stay present in your knowing that everything is happening in divine timing for a reason. But I was getting like the end to the 7-step program, which I keep saying, the ascension process, the twin flame journey, I'm now calling the 7-step program. End to the 7-step program with an open heart of abundance for the masked boy with a flame, cracked wide open, their heart cracked wide open to ascension, staying present with your open heart for the Divine Feminine, for your happy family of just the two of you, with patience to get moving and wisdom to be in the midst of the shifts. Okay? So then for the masculine energy, did I tell you all the different, I didn't tell you the different parts of the read. So for the divine feminine, the majors were Ascension, which is the World card, Abundance, which is the Empress, Alchemy, which is Temperance, and the Hanging Man in this deck. There was 1 sword, 3 cups, 3 wands, and the characters were Page of Cups, Knight of Wands, and Page of Wands. So all youngsters there. So there definitely could be some kids who are front and center right now for the divine feminines. Okay, with 2 pages and a Knight of Wands. But definitely that sexual energy coming up as well. And the 2 pages could just be the divine masculine and divine feminine in their inner child energy. Okay, coming together in the sexual energy with this full moon, because Mars goes direct right after the full moon. So for the divine masculine perspective, the only majors that came up are Guidance and Shadow. So Guidance is the Hierophant, and Shadow is the Devil. So the marriage and the devil, or God and the devil, right? Okay, so talk about reflections. We have the God and the devil for the masculine right now, so there could be some major shifts right now. Oh, and before I forget too, I want to bring up the fact that yesterday, when I was talking about the left hand up and the right hand down, I said like flying a kite, and today on the Leo King, he was talking about the full moon as a kite. So we may be flying this full moon, so bring that together as it resonates for you. Alright, so we have the Guidance and the Shadow for the divine masculine. 3 wands, 3 pentacles, 3 swords. No cups at all. The Queen of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords are the characters. And numbers 6 and 11 came up for the divine masculine. 6 is love, 11 is justice. So 6, that love for the Lovers card, is also about sex. So in the coding, it was coming up about love and sex. The sexual energy reminding you to pull it up. And this is when I had to start pulling up the sexual energy. It just, no matter how much I pulled it up, it was just keeps coming and coming. So it's just part of the downloads that we're receiving right now. And also when I was pulling out the cards for this read, as I went to the golden deck, and I had just finished the Tarot of Sexual Magic, I sneezed right there. So it was like a release. It was like showing us a division, that there's a release. Okay? And clarifying the divine masculine's cards. And it was like so of love and guidance. The divine masculine finding 0 point. An emergency room of crying due to the dark adventure. So they're going through purge cycles. So in need of love and sex guidance. Over an urgent cry, the devil's workshop. Okay, so he's going through these cycles, still not completely understanding, but definitely more clued in than he was before. So it's getting the King of Wands reversed. Could be exhausted or pissed off. But I was getting pissed with the Queen of Cups reversed, who tends to be a manipulative energy, holding back their truth. His passions are blocking the sun. So the sun exposes. And the divine masculine is trying to block exposure as long as possible. Even though things have been exposed already, he's still trying to block the exposure. Hiding his light, hiding what's been exposed already. Someone is out to get him, to destroy him, to dishonor him. He's now free to leap, but waiting. It's like he's got a plan, but he's waiting. He's holding back while others gossip, like maybe to let things kind of die down. To offer any love out. There's an unhappy family feeling defeated. Maybe someone's hanging crosses all over the house. Not expressing their feelings. Celebrating passion without feeling. Like someone coming together just to have sex, or maybe someone, I was seeing like the covens again, 3 witches coming together, maybe to cast a spell so that they can have sex with their masculine with no feelings attached. They just want sex. But I was getting that energy as well. Unrequited love came up, which ties into that. So someone wants sex without love. And then shocking exposure or just surprise exposure. Kept quiet at home. And I was also getting like the Divine Masculine telling whoever he's with to get off of him. And it could just be kids too, but he's telling someone to get off of him. But there's a shocking or surprise exposure along with this that he's kept quiet about at home. There's a third party watching, and then I'm seeing where I usually see him with his partner, with the Divine Feminine watching, I'm now seeing him, he's actually with the Divine Feminine. His heart has always been with the Divine Feminine, and the partner is now on the outside. So his heart is the third part, his Divine Feminine, while the partner is now left out. And the Divine Masculine was getting the healing card, so he's healing. There's jealousy of a scorpionic sting, and I was getting Thoth as the scribe coming up. So the Divine Masculines may be journaling now, and Thoth may be helping them with that. But there's jealousy of like a scorpion jealousy coming up. But I was also seeing, so it could be him in regards to something with the Divine Feminine, but it could also be his partner about what's going on now with the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. I keep seeing the Divine Masculine seeing what's in my house. Like, so in his read, with his cards, I'll see things that I never saw in the cards before, literally describing one of my rooms or something that I have. So it's like some of your twins are remote viewing you. Okay? So I was seeing this. So the Divine Masculine is now, is trying to have faith now, like knowing they want this new life, but they still don't have all the information. They're tired of waiting for the information, but knowing that it has to be in faith, it has to be blind. And I was getting, again, cross my heart and hope to die. I also see them paying out to their partners, that Scorpio fire, that jealous fire, in lieu of a new life without knowing what's up. So maybe they're trying to pay someone off so they don't have to tell them anything that's going on, but trying to pacify them or actually make a break from someone without having to tell them anything. So the Queen of Wands, or the karmic energy, is coming up again, who wants to know what's going on, or they want sex from their partner who's been holding out. But now the Queen of Wands is getting pissed and like demanding what they want. There's no love there, but they just want sex and they want it now. So recently, the Divine Masculine standing their ground, defensive, and rejecting the Queen of Wands. So she might have tripped up about something, and the Divine Masculine is holding her to it, where she just made a mistake. Maybe the partner of the Divine Masculine cheated, or lied about sex, or lied about some kind of interference about the Divine Feminine. But either way, it's like the Divine Masculine caught her in a lie, so he's using that, to get her to be the fall guy, basically. Also, what came up is that her not knowing about the emotional affair between the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, that she pretended not to know the whole time, and now it comes out that she actually did know the whole time, so the Divine Masculine is calling her on it, because it wasn't true, so she lied. And then the foundation was receiving downloads and storing them in a peaceful place. So the Divine Masculine literally could be receiving etheric downloads and then transferring them to their feminine to hold for safekeeping. And it could be ideas as well. It also could be just stashing things somewhere. Like, how we receive the downloads and we pass them on to each other? So the Divine Masculine can be receiving them and not passing them on, maybe saving them in a certain place. So they could have some stash somewhere. Also could involve the kids. And I was also seeing taking kids back and forth in a divorce situation. Also could be the Divine Masculine getting their kids and not wanting to take them back. And in some very few situations, there may be Divine Masculines who are actually taking their kids away. The central issue for the Divine Masculine has to do with family coming together after being imbalanced. The King of Swords not telling the truth about his plan. There's a challenge here about receiving guidance from So the Divine Masculine's always been receiving guidance from their Divine Feminine. But him realizing this, and also that he's already married to his Divine Feminine, he's realizing this kind of information, that the Queen of Pentacles energy, and it's not an earth sign, this is just about the Divine Feminine in general, the grounded, rounded person, that he's seeing is his destiny, that completes his world, makes him feel peace, and wants to start a new life with. It's like, for now, and I literally started sweating when I was writing this. It's like he has, and this may be why, like, I couldn't, you know, my throat was all choked up last night, because he may be coming out to his family about it. Okay, so the King of Pentacles, Divine Masculine's coming back up as the King of Pentacles. It seems that for some, they've been able to recover financially, and they've been frustrated in the aftermath with little or no communication between a King of Wands reversed and an Empress reversed. So it's going to be different for everyone. But this is someone who's angry or tired. It could be the Divine Masculine and Feminine, okay, who are not talking to each other. But it also can be someone angry or someone who's in lack. It could be a mother figure and a brother figure of the Divine Masculine, or a friend or a partner and a boss. You know, there could be all different scenarios. So I'm getting the King of Pentacles, but really I'm getting the King of Pentacles as the Divine Masculine, and then maybe dealing with a King of Wands reversed and an Empress reversed. So they could be karmic energies. So it could be though, the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. It could be at home, and home energies at home. It could be partners or people, family who's living with them. But it also could be them in union. So the Divine Masculine holding on loosely to whatever he's going through right now, and grounding, but tired of not knowing the whole truth. So then I was getting the Hermit, or the Virgo energy, shedding light on the King of Pentacles and his inner child, afraid to speak. Okay? So this Hermit energy is carrying great passion on their back. So it could be the Divine Feminine. They keep pulling it up to their heart and going within to manage self-love, grounding and integrating energies. But soon for the Divine Masculine, I'm getting a quick message or announcement or some kind of 5D communication about their pain cycles and being at 0 point and trying to run away from the pain by being loved. So they think that all of a sudden, if they're just unconditional love all the time, that they can avoid all the pain cycles. So in a way, trying to cheat, which, you know, you don't have to tell them they're cheating, because they'll go into another purge cycle. But he is expressing feelings to a dysfunctional family as the King of Pentacles is coming out about what makes him happy, what really makes him happy. So the cards that came up for the Divine Masculine are healing family issues, deception, and children. So all of these things are affecting their love life. Around him, it's all about money and energy and the injustice of it, looking back. And now studying energy, or maybe a new job or new studies, or even a new invitation. The Divine Masculine has to clear blocks of truth, lack, and depression, and moodiness of himself, of his inner child, or of his kids, and speaking immaturely. All right, and so he's got the cards for adventure and domestic harmony. So he's trying to harmonize his home, but also getting ready for an adventure. All right, so some may just be going on vacation, but it could be coming into union as well. So there's an imbalance. There's been an imbalance of a narcissistic marriage, including alcohol, could be drugs too, cheating, controlling. All of these types of issues come up. Leaning on the truth at the full moon, blocked with alcohol. Stalking exposed at work, but somebody not refusing to go anywhere, like refusing to move. The web of lies and deceit of narcissist exposure, or exposed at the full moon, even though trying to cover it up. Shadow side exposed. So like we've been saying, there's going to be total exposure coming up, especially at this full moon. And then this is Pisces, and Pisces is all about spiritual things. You know, your shadow side. It's all coming out. So recovery of status and attention. The Divine Masculine feeling like the worst is over, of being left out in the cold. He is free to work, and when I wrote work, it came out worst. He is free to be his worst, I guess, but free to work on emotional issues, heal, and get forgiveness. So he's now free to do all the things he's wanted to do. Passion flares as the Divine Masculine quickly packs or stores up kids or ideas, or both, to get away and express feelings to balance the scales with the Queen of Wands and the family, and whatever marriage, and with an announcement of truth about the King of Pentacles' dark side and those left behind. So there's definitely exposure coming up here. Okay, and I'm going to pull you some cards now as well. So for the Divine Masculines as well, you know, don't try to cheat this week. If you try to like get in a one-night stand, you know, before your union, you may screw up everything you've been working so hard for. And the same thing, like, don't offer your Divine Feminine something that isn't worthy of her. If it's something that you wouldn't accept, why would your Divine Feminine accept it? But it's really about being authentic, being in your integrity, and not accepting what is beneath you. So be careful about what your impatience this week. It's about being patient just as you've been, and continue to be patient and trust the universe has your back. Okay, so for the Ascension deck, for the organic Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, Twin Flames, what is the advice? This August 22nd, 2018, what is the advice? What is the advice? Okay, we got Pallas Athena. The bottom of the deck is Dolphins, which is number 23. All right, 23 says, I connect with dolphin wisdom. And 23 is the King of Wands, which came up. So for the Divine Masculines, you may need to connect with dolphins. So either if you're going on vacation, you might want to get in the water with the dolphins, as well as just listening to the dolphin music online. It's very, very relaxing. The card that came out is Pallas Athena. Okay, it's number 48, which is the Going Within card. It's the Eight of Cups. It's 48 is actually a 3 of self-expression, coming together, being joyful. It's the 8 of inner strength, and then the responsibility on the outside. So it's through strength and responsibility to be able to be joyful. Pallas Athena is known as the goddess of truth and wisdom. She is Lord of Karma for the 4th ray, which is that responsibility, and holds the sword of truth to show humanity the way. Although she wields her sword for the highest ideals and divine truth, she prefers to use wisdom to settle disputes. Your guidance is to follow her example. See the higher perspective in all areas of conflict. Draw on your abundance of wisdom and tact to communicate with everyone concerned, and use the sword of truth to point the divine way forward. The affirmation is, I use the sword of truth to lead the way. And just to be reminded, it's not about whether or not you hurt someone's feelings. It's about being in your truth no matter what or who it hurts. You do it with tact and kindness, but if they are hurt or if they react in a bad way, you can't control that, and that's their wound then to heal. So allow that. You're doing them a favor by bringing something up to be healed. Don't be afraid of somebody else's feelings. If you're in your truth, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's when you're not in your truth. Okay, so this is for the organic Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, August 22nd, 2018. Okay, this is the past life deck. Okay, the bottom is the biblical. Okay, and this is much like the Eight of Pentacles working. And the card that came out is Medicine Man or Woman. Catching your dreams. Taking good care of yourself. And as I brought up in the read, shamans. You might want to experience something with a shaman. Or maybe try the shaman teas. Or try the cedar, which the picture I have is of 21 shamans surrounding a cedar tree. And there's a little teepee there as well. Okay, so maybe just about ancient Indian medicine in general, and following some of those ancient remedies and practices, and catching dreams. I'm getting the crucifixion also, though. And I'm going to bring this up again from yesterday, because I brought up the crucifixion yesterday, but it's coming up again here. Because I'm literally seeing the things hanging. That the divine masculine, in exposing himself about the divine feminine, is living out the crucifixion of Jesus. So that's the energies they're feeling, and why my divine masculine was so in his throat chakra yesterday. Because they literally are feeling that template of being crucified. So have compassion for your divine masculines, okay? And then for the journey of love. Journey of love. Okay, for the organic, divine masculine, divine feminine. What is the advice for the organic, divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flames? What is the advice? It's August 22nd, 2018. What is the advice? What is the advice? Okay, we have Shakti. And Rings of Time is at the bottom. Okay, Rings of Time is 44. 44 is the Four of Cups. It's also the number of the social worker. And Shakti is the number that came out. And 44, by the way, is a power number. It's the number of Atlas. The weight of the world upon your shoulders is the underlying energy. So that's how the divine masculine is probably feeling right now, as well as the divine feminine. But the energy is feminine energies, the Shakti energy coming out. Number 19. Okay. So 19 is the sun. It's about the masculine energy. It's the 9 of selflessness and compassion on the inside, being very soft on the inside, but be very driven and leader-like on the outside, which comes out as the 1 as well. So it's very strong, focused energy, Shakti, even though it's feminine energy. So number 19. And the sun comes up too, again, because it's all about exposure this week. Spiritual exposure. Whew. A little stress coming up here, guys. Take a deep breath. Hold it for a minute. Better. Shakti is divine feminine fire. She is the body awakened with light. She is the divine feminine, and she is the Kundalini, the energetic force that moves through us, triggered by love, that leads to enlightenment of our body. With our Kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. It is impossible. We may try to lead the same lives, be the same in our relationship patterns, and perhaps even behave properly, but it simply cannot be done. Soon our disguise slips, and people wonder what happened to her, or what's gotten into him. We're on fire with the divine, and we cannot help but misbehave. We are no longer satisfied with trying to be the good child or fearing we are the bad child. We know ourselves instead to be the divine child. The child divine lives fully and with passionate fire, not doing things the way they're supposed to be done perhaps, but living instead from the heart. Our body may ache as we burn through old pain, and sometimes the light within may seem so bright it blinds us for a moment. But that will pass, and the misbehaving will suddenly be seen for what it is. The old rules just don't fit anymore. You don't plug a globe capable of illuminating the whole world into the bedside reading lamp without burning down the house. Best to let that light shine as it was meant to in the big arena. Shakti is making your light grow, beloved. Be prepared to shine brighter. This oracle brings you a message. You're going through energetic shifts in your subtle anatomy. Because your energy body and physical body have already begun to merge with each other, the energetic shifts will affect your body too, your physical body. It is always wise to consult a healthcare practitioner, but at least some of your physical challenges at the moment, from aches and pains to tiredness, are due to this energetic awakening. Take responsible action as you feel is necessary, such as tending to your physical well-being with health care that feels supportive, but also remember to rest, get some time in nature, and nurture your body as it's spiritually awakening into greater light. And the poem reads, I have watched you hurting and felt helpless to make life better for you. Loving you is having to make choices, to let you be who you are, who you become, and all the who's yet to come. To love you is to ride the waves of your passionate embrace of life. Spirit's connecting. Ever mindful of the change in the wind and the occasional tempest brewing. Loving you is having to make choices, knowing it isn't my fault. I can still choose to take it personally, or just be, while I listen and watch you unfold. Your heart is a beauty I will always love. It is the part of you that hasn't changed much over time. When I lie beside you and hear you breathe, when I touch your skin or caress your hair, you are timeless, and I choose loving you. So that sums it up pretty well. Okay? You're coming into your divineness. So allow it all to come in. Don't fear anything new that you're feeling. All these energies are from the heavy download energies we're getting, which most of you know already. But it's just stay in your heart. Stay open and present in your power. That's it. Rest, drink water, get out in nature, and meditate. And try to eat well. Okay? Have an amazing day. And rise and be loved, guys. See you soon.